the fuck? What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. Testing. Can you guys hear me? Leave a comment. I had to come back. This shit was tripping. The Vampire Stream. If you guys are in the chat, type something. I'm coming back. Last chat was glitching. Yup. Smash the like button because I had to start over. Oh man, it's not gonna be a long chat either, so we got to get this one jumping real quick. I just had to talk about this, and then I'm about to hit the hay. You go to bed. I don't go to bed. I am bed. I'm gonna go to bed after I talk about this issue. Damn, man, I'm in Spain and saw you working last night. We working. We get shit done over here, man. No, I'm not still on. Haircut looking fresh as a mofo. Yeah, I'd have cut it low for the summer, man. Mad respect to you, bro. Shout out to Spain. Listen, y'all ready to talk? Y'all ready to talk this boxing? Man, we gotta talk this boxing. So, man, smash the like button because I don't want to keep going over this over and over again. We gotta keep waiting for people to join. YouTube's tripping. Makes me not want to go live. I do just fine with regular videos, but I like talking to people on the people's channel. YouTube got to figure this stuff out. It's like, this is insane. Like, it shouldn't be this hard to stream. Can you guys hear me? I'm not seeing any comments. Can you guys hear what I'm saying? My dad believes Wilder will win, that he has the drive and hunger. I do not believe this is the case. Joshua has the pedigree, the background. AJ will defeat Wilder. Man, well, you got to fight him first. That's the biggest issue. He has to fight him. He has to sign up for the fight. He has to be ready to fight. And he has to make the fight. Listen, this is unbelievable what I'm about to tell you guys. This is truly crazy. I haven't seen anything quite like this in boxing. So, shout out to Sky Sports. I have a video on the way about the same subject, but I wanted to talk to you live. Anthony Joshua is insistent on having this first fight with Wilder in the UK. The CEO in charge of coordinating the events or whatever, your mark, right, of the Barclays Center, says they want to bring the fight to the Barclays Center. And Showtime says they would help to facilitate a deal, mediate a deal. Joshua, on camera, says he would take the deal and take the fight tomorrow for $50 million. He got offered $50 million. And now he switched and he's saying he wants to fight in the UK for the fans and because he's earned it. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's like, and then now he's saying that he's willing to take less money. They estimate his pay cut by fighting in the UK could be upwards of $20 million. And he's willing to take a pay cut like that just to fight in the UK. That doesn't sound right. Something's up. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he doesn't want to fight Wilder next, but that sounds crazy that you would go through those types of lengths to not just to fight in the UK. You know what I mean? I said this in the video that you guys will see. It reminds me of when Pacquiao didn't want to do the drug test versus Floyd. Like, who knew that waiting 5-6 years the fight would still be valuable? Bottom line is, at the time, we all knew fans wanted it. There would have been no excuse. And Manny Pacquiao said that he was afraid of needles, and his team said, we'll just let the commission do their job. We're not taking the test because Floyd's not our boss. Like, that type of foolish pride, that doesn't even make sense to me. I'm not going to take a drug test just to not let Floyd have his way, even though what Floyd was advocating for should be praised. You know what I mean? He's advocating for a clean sport. You know what I mean? So I can understand if Floyd told you to do something that wasn't beneficial. It was only beneficial to him. But in a mega fight, to take a drug test, that's not benefit. That's beneficial to the fans, so they know everything's on the up and up. It's beneficial to Floyd. It's beneficial to Pacquiao, so he knows he's fighting a clean fighter, etc. You know what I mean? So these types of standoffs, or like I won't budge in business, it makes it bad for the fans. Are we speculating whether or not Joshua is on PEDs? I didn't say anything about that. I said that Pacquiao, I'm just talking about lucrative fights potentially not getting made for standoffs. That's what I said. If you want to quote me on what I said. I didn't say whatever the fuck you're talking about. But these politics are crazy. Crazy. The Barclays, just go check that link, Sky Sports. Barclays said they want the fight. So AJ, listen, remember how I'm telling you, this is why new media keeps killing, and we keep winning, and we're going to continue winning, because at the end of the day, you see who said what. That's why I don't worry about it. When y'all call me names and stuff, I'm not really worried about it. If you get it too disrespectful, too reckless, I got shooters. You know what I mean, that'll handle that in the chat. But I don't worry about it because I know time's gonna reveal everything. Time's gonna reveal everything. And listen to who said what and when they said it. Period. And this whole thing with Joshua, I've never seen anything like this. Joshua would be the first heavyweight in history to get a guarantee of $50 million. The first in history. And now he's saying that money is not the motive. The money doesn't matter. He's willing to take possibly a $20 million pay cut, however many pounds that is, just to fight in front of his people, in front of the UK. That's crazy to me. Especially when he named his price. He's the one that said 50 million. Shout out to Juan Medellin. There's no other explanation for it. That there's nothing at this point that will make that make sense. Where you're gonna pass up $50 million just to fight at home, knowing that you're gonna get less money in the UK by fighting at home, just to give your fans a show, when you've given them a show for your whole career. Joshua's 20-0, something like that. So for 20 fights, you fought in front of your crowd. 20 fights, and 19 of them you gave them knockouts. And for the biggest fight in history, even if they can't come up with the type of money that you want in the UK, you're willing to not fight at all for the money that you requested, just so you don't have to go to America. But you're in America right now on Conan O'Brien. You came out to a Warriors game. Like, come on, man. Like, there's no way that's gonna make sense. So it's not like you have a fear of planes because you're in America. So like, somebody make it make sense. What? You can't say, oh, I have a fear of planes and I've never been to America, so I'm so scared, because you're in America right now. He's in Phoenix. He was in Oregon. He was in LA. So you can't use that. You can't say, I hate the Barclays or something, because your own promoter, Eddie Hearn, says he was trying to stage Gerald Big Baby Miller and Joshua in the Barclays. And Miller is from Brooklyn versus Wilder is not from the East Coast. He's from down south, right? So why did your promoter, this is your team, the person you signed with and appointed, why is he saying that might be the next move? You fighting Gerald Big Baby Miller. We all seen it. It was on tape. You know what I mean? You fighting Gerald Big Baby Miller in Brooklyn. And now you have Brooklyn, or the Barclays, the venue, contacting and reaching out to you saying, we want this fight. There's no better place. We've been one of the meccas in boxing. We are the new mecca of boxing. And heavyweight boxing has a rich history in Brooklyn. Rich history. Like, I'm talking about 1900s history. Right? And all of this, a no for all of this, like, this is unheard of. You're right, Ego. I'm disappointed in Joshua. Him and Hearn are going to play politics just to have as much advantage as possible going to the fight. Shaking my head. I mean, but this is unheard of. It's like, there's no way you can make it make sense, especially when he asked for this amount of money. Like, so you kind of wasted people's time. Like, if anything, it's too late now. But Joshua in that interview, see, this is how I know what I said in my heart. I believe what I said previously was right. Hearn, Anthony Joshua, at the time of recording the video requesting the $50 million, they didn't think it would be possible. They didn't think it would be doable. That's why they didn't plan for, or they didn't educate their response to cover more than the $50 million, because they thought it was a pipe dream to be asking for $50 million and have Wilder's side, the B side, come up with this. That's it. Because the reason I believe that is they came up with the money, and now you're scrambling to find something else. Oh, now we got to fight in the UK. But in that video, you didn't say one thing about that. And this is where they messed up. It's too late now, because the video already was released as is. You said, and Wilder keeps looping it, he said, they're saying it's a $100 million fight. Tell you what, we don't even have to do a 60-40. I'll do a 50-50. They say it's a $100 million fight. There's no proof of that. Give me 50 mil. 50 mil, I'll take the fight tomorrow. You didn't say 50 mil, I'll take the fight tomorrow. Only if it's in the UK. Because then Wilder's side might not have wasted their time if they didn't want to give you 50 mil and then fight in the UK. They probably came up with the 50 mil knowing that they generate more money in the USA, period. Shout out to Christopher. He says, Joshua stated he doesn't want to sell his soul for 50 million, but he's the one that brought it up. I'm a slap in my forehead. That's what I'm saying. Like, none of this makes sense. How you gonna say it's a selling your soul for 50 mil? It's like you're a prize fighter. There's nothing wrong with making money. You're supposed to make money. You're risking your life. You're in the heavyweight division out of all divisions. One punch can change the earth. One punch can change the outcome and the course of events. You know what I mean? Luis Ortiz is doing a pretty good job of starting to outbox Wilder, but one punch created sequences. So at the end of the day, how's that selling your soul? Like, none of this Joshua, listen, if I was Joshua, real talk, I'm not, this is not no shade, you know what I mean? If I see Joshua, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, I really mean this. Joshua and Eddie Hearn should really stop just doing interviews, or limit them, or just don't talk about Wilder, because the more that they are doing it, the worse it's getting, because they keep saying stuff that mixed with their past interviews, their current interviews mixed with their past, it's just not making any sense at all. How is it selling your soul, but you asked for it? You know what I'm saying? How is it selling your soul? Like, don't act like money is, to get a lump sum of money is selling your soul. but you ask for it. Don't act like 50 mil is selling your soul, but you're in money's material. You don't care about material things, but you also are on record saying you want to be a billionaire. What, like, so I can understand, like, let's say it was like Donald Glover, and he, or actually, you know what? I got an actual historic example. It is not that far. It's not like medieval history. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle did interviews explaining why he didn't do season 3 or whatever it was for Chappelle's show. He said because it just started getting out of control. And he says season 3, some of the writers for the skits were wanting him to play like slaves all the time and just things that he didn't agree with. And like, it was like almost like a minstrel show. So he was just like, I'm not doing this. That's selling your soul, because it's going beyond comedy. And like, even though Comedy Central or whatever offered him $50 million, he didn't want to do some of these skits, and they really wanted him to do the skits. So that's where they created, it was a standstill. He's like, as an artist, as a creator, I'm not comfortable doing some of these skits that they're writing, right? Therefore, he left and went to Africa or whatever, had to rediscover himself, and he kind of disappeared for a minute because he didn't like the direction creatively that it was going, right? That's not selling your soul. But Joshua being a prize fighter, fighting for a living to take care of his family, and then fighting for an amount that you stated, this has nothing to do with selling your soul. Like, if you consider that selling your soul, then why'd you ask for the money? Why'd you say, tell you what, give me 50 mil, I'll take the fight tomorrow? Like, if what does that mean? Like, why'd you ask for the money if you consider that selling your soul? You know what I mean? It just, either way, none of this stuff is making sense. The Barclays is begging him. They said the sooner the better. Just commit. We want to have it. I think it said November or December. And he's the Sky Sports article says he still wants it in the UK. He don't care what American venues are requesting. So that's the other thing. Like I said, listen to who says what. Listen. I'm trying not to read some of these funny comments. Listen to who says what. You tell me who won. The other thing is this, is regarding this Joshua situation. New media, you already know that. Regarding this Joshua situation, just check this out and tell me if this makes sense. And listen to my channel, what I've always maintained and what I've said versus what they were saying. Part of it is they don't want a blind contract. They don't want to sign. And then Eddie Hearn was like, oh, what if they want us to wear pink trousers? What venue is it? So now with the Barclays, Your Mark, doing this interview with Sky Sports, it sounds like that's a strong suitor. It sounds like the Barclays would be one of the major locations. So that narrows down your search in terms of venues. So everything's coming together. 50 mil, 50% of the backdoor stuff, or the pay-per-view proceeds. The Barclays says they want the fight. They gave you a date range of September, December. And the guy from the Barclays, Your Mark, did the interview with Sky Sports, an exclusive interview, and he says the last 2 months of the year work best for them, but they're flexible on the dates. I mean, what more do you want from this fight? You know what I mean? He says, we want this fight, and it's the biggest fight for probably the next 10 years. Make sure you guys look in the comment section. That's a direct quote. That's a direct quote from the CEO of the Barclays. There is flexibility in moving dates around, Your Mark continued. That is why it is important that they being Eddie Hearn and Joshua, they make a decision sooner rather than later. We like that November, December timeline for us. So everything's coming together if you accept 50 mil, 50% of the pay-per-view back end, fight in America, no rematch clause. The email said September to December, but then the Barclays sounds like a strong candidate for a venue, especially since they've hosted Deontay Wilder's last 2 fights, and it's a high-tech new stadium or whatever venue that can hold a good amount of people. The CEO of the Barclays says we'll be flexible if you give us a decision soon, and he says whereas you had the September-December range, he's saying November or December work best for us. It is May right now, so you have plenty of time to train, and we still don't have a fight. And AJ's insistent, from what it sounds like, he's countering and refusing to come to America, even though he's in America right now, to fight Wilder. So he could come to America for leisure, but not to fight. His promoter says he's exploring the option for Gerald Big Baby Miller, but fighting Wilder in that same venue is out of the question. Like, come on, this is crazy. And then the best reasoning you can come up with is the UK fans, and you've earned this. Like, and then now the money doesn't matter. You're like, $50 million, I'm not going to sell my soul for 50. But you asked for the 50. You know what I'm saying? That's like, listen, you know I'm the king of analogies. That's like me calling a pizza place, and then I order 3 large pizzas, 1 meat lovers, 1 supreme, and 1 pepperoni with half of it pepperoni, half of it cheese. And then the guy comes to my door, ding dong, and he has the 3 large pizzas that I ordered, and I say, "Hey, I'm not gonna sell my soul. I'm not gonna sell my soul for these pizzas." He'd be like, "What the fuck? What do you mean sell your soul?" This is what you ordered the pizzas. You ordered 3 pizzas with these toppings. You know what I'm saying? That's like me saying, I'm not gonna sell my soul for this. I'm not gonna break my diet for you people. What? How is it breaking your diet for somebody when you ordered the 3 pizzas? They didn't just call you and say, "Hey, we're gonna bring you 3 pizzas." You see how inconsistent this sounds? Like, you would sound crazy calling and ordering 3 pizzas. They deliver it, and you say, "Hey, I'm not going to sell my soul for you. I'm not going to cheat on my diet for you." Then why'd you order the pizza? You know what I'm saying? So none of this is making sense. Joshua talking about, I'm not going to sell my soul for $50 million, but you're the one that said and named your price. You're the one that said $50 million, and you'll take the fight tomorrow. Crazy. I don't know what else could be said. Like, what else? Like, people are like, "Oh, you're biased, ego." So you tell me the other side. You make these inconsistencies make sense. Listen. Somebody make these inconsistencies make sense. How is it that you can fight Gerald Miller, according to your own promoter, at the Barclays, but you don't want to come to Barclays for Wilder, who actually has the belt, unlike Gerald Miller? You'll get more credit for beating Wilder than you would Gerald Miller. You'll make more money beating Wilder or fighting Wilder than you will Gerald Miller. You're still in America, so you have to deal with if your promoter says Gerald Miller, you have to still deal with referees. You still have to deal with American judges. So none of this makes sense. Simply. Shout out to Dean Francis. The fans see it. He said Joshua asked for 50 mil. He got offered it and won't take it. That's what I'm saying. And then now it's something else. He's saying, "Hey, I want to fight in the UK." But like, you can't have this. A side shouldn't work like that. Like, where you have you don't have to hold every card. You know what I mean? He wants a 2-fight deal. But why? Like, first of all, why does he want... Listen, it's still inconsistent. You guys can try to weasel your way out of it, but it's inconsistent from what Team Joshua has been saying. Eddie Hearn did an interview where he says Joshua knocks out Wilder in 2 rounds. 3 rounds. 3 rounds is what he said. 3 rounds. So, that being said, why do you need a 2-fight deal if you're that confident that you're going to stretch Wilder? AJ just did a recent interview, more recent than the one that Eddie Hearn said, the knockout in 3 rounds, and he says, I'm going to fuck him up. I'm going to fuck Wilder up. So if you're going to fuck him up, why do you need an agreed upon 2-fight deal? Why is the no rematch clause a potential deal breaker? How is it good business if you're going to stretch? Like, Dean, you're not making any sense. So you're saying you're going to knock Wilder out. Eddie Hearn's saying you're going to knock Wilder out in 3, but you refuse to take a deal with no rematch clause. No, Dean, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. One more dumb response, and I'll put you in the hot seat. I gotta make an example out of you because you're not making sense. You said you have to protect your investment. How are you protecting your investment if the investors and the fighter both said that they were gonna knock Wilder out, and the fans are saying that? Eddie Hearn says that Joshua will knock out Wilder in 3. Joshua just did an interview and he said that he'll fuck Wilder up and he's gonna rain hell on him, down on him. So what does this protect your investment shit? How are you protecting your investment if you and your promoter, who are responsible for making this fight come together, both said that you're gonna stretch Wilder? Well, how do you need it? That's like me taking a trip, and they say, hey, do you want trip protection, the insurance, in case you don't make it? And I'm like, no, I always make my flights. Then I wouldn't buy the travel insurance if I always make my flights and I never need to cancel. And I was certain of that. If I was certain that I never canceled in 20 years of traveling, I've never had to cancel a flight, then I'm not going to buy the travel insurance. So there is no protect your investment. The reason you would get an extended warranty is because you think something may happen. You know what I'm saying? If you buy an air compressor from Sears or some shit, and they offer you a protection plan. If you buy a camera or a laptop from Best Buy, and they offer you a protection plan. Oh, it covers spills, it covers liquid spills, covers if you drop it and break the screen. The reason you would buy that is because you think you may use it, right? But Eddie Hearn says Wilder will get knocked out in 3, and AJ says I'm going to rain down hell on him, and I'm going to fuck him up. So what is this protected investment? I'm telling you, keep going. I'm going to put you in the hot seat because you're going to have to explain this. Right now, it's not making sense. You keep talking about protect the investment. There's nothing to protect if the outcome is what you say it's going to be. See, now, it is protect your investment if you're realistic and you're considering losing a possibility. But according to what they've said, they're not considering losing a possibility. They're saying they'll win by knockout, and they're confident. He said, basically, I have more heart than Wilder, and it's all about your mind and heart, and I'm going to fuck him up. So please stop. Stop making these lies up and excuses. First of all, you can't spell no. It's K-N-O-W, not N-O. He said, obviously, they know it's a possibility. But then why don't they say that then? Either way, you're fucked. Either way, you lose. Because, Eddie, that's not what they're saying. You're saying, obviously, they know it's a possibility. So then that means they're lying to the public. That means they're lying. I'm about to block you, bro. Because you're all over the place. You only speak from one side. Bro, I'm about to block you. How am I speaking from one side? You're not even making sense. Yeah, bro. Hey, Ronald Finkley, get him out of here. Like, listen, get Dean Francis out of here. Just get out of it. Like, he's already been burned in the hot seat. You know what I mean? Thank you. Listen, how they blame me. He said I'm only speaking from one side, but none of what he was saying was making sense. He says that, hey, they know losing is a possibility, but that's not what they're telling the public. So that doesn't make sense. Something is a lie. If you know losing is a possibility, but you're saying all these confident things about knocking out your opponent, then that means you're not being truthful. Simple. And then you only speak from one side. No, I speak from the side of the truth and what I see. Period. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna listen. If y'all want to step up in the hot seat, y'all can step up. But please make sure you come with the argument, because mine is intact and it's been the same and it's been solid. He talking about, oh, you got to protect your investment. How do you have to protect your investment if you say you're gonna knock the person out? Why do you need a rematch clause if you know you're gonna knock the person out? You know what I mean? Brandon Rippey, $2 super chat. This AJ Wilder shit worse than politics. Shaking my head. Yeah, bro. Here's an example. Shout out to Ronald Finkley. This debunks his whole protect your investment. I've done hot seats where I've won money from Vegas, or I had super chat, a gang of super chats, and I offered my whole super chat earnings to the person if they beat me in the hot seat. You guys, if you fuck with my channel, you'll remember those times, because I'm so confident that my argument is a lot more sound and reasonable than the person who was in the hot seat, where I offered every dime that I earned on super chats to that person if they defeat me in the hot seat. Why didn't I protect my investment? Because I wasn't worried about losing. I didn't think the person was capable of beating me in the hot seat with that argument. It's that simple. So stop making these excuses. You're making it worse for the fighter you're trying to protect. You notice, if you guys, like I said, if you fuck with the channel, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I said, here, I'll give you all of these super chats for the day. I will tally them up. I'll give you receipts if you beat me in the hot seat. I've done that on more than one occasion. The reason I could do that is because I work hard for my money. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you guys for the super chat. I'm not going to let someone just take something that I've earned easily. So if you beat me, you're going to have to really beat me for that, them super chats. You're going to have to really beat me with your argument. And that's not going to happen. But I'm that confident that you're not going to beat me saying that stupid, silly shit. That's why I can do that. So if AJ and Hearn, AJ said, I'm going to fuck him up. I'm going to rain down hell. And I like going to hellish places. Eddie Hearn says AJ will knock out Wilder in 3. And Joseph Parker's a tougher fight than Wilder. So what is this whole protect your investment stuff? See, there's too many interviews done. I remember all of them. There's too many inconsistencies. It doesn't matter what y'all talking about, because you can't explain this many inconsistencies. Period. If Joseph Parker was a tougher fight and we just watched Joshua beat him, then why do you need a rematch clause? You already just beat the tougher fight. Eddie Hearn and AJ both agreed that Joseph Parker, based on his skill set and his technique, is a tougher fight than Deontay Wilder. And you just beat him. So why do you need a rematch clause? I'm telling y'all. Y'all gonna learn at some point. Slip the jab, $5 super chat. The hurdles keep coming because they just don't want the fight. Team Hearn, AJ knows that Wilder will stop their long-term financial plan. Hashtag they running. Listen, my job here is done. You guys can believe whatever you want, but I mean, the world knows what it is, and everybody sees it. Everybody with a brain, everybody who's reasonable, everybody who's a true life boxing fan, everybody who's objective, everybody who doesn't have an agenda. Now, if you're from London or Liverpool and you choose to look at it and only have like tribalism, then you might not understand it if you do that. But I know there's a lot of great UK fans who don't just go off of tribalism and they'll call it fair. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, the world sees what it is. You know what I mean? None of these inconsistencies have yet to be explained. Joseph Parker's a tougher fight, but you want to protect your investment. with the rematch clause. So that's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker, but Eddie Hearn says AJ will knock out Wilder. It's a deal breaker, but Joshua just said that he's going to fuck Wilder up in a fight, and he's smarter, and he has a better brain, and they both have power, and he has more heart. You know what I'm saying? Then what is there to protect your investment with? Collect the $50 million, knock Wilder out like you both said you're going to do, and keep it pushing. And if you guys choose to rematch, then it'll be optional. See, you can still rematch without a rematch clause. Then, oh, it's the devil in the details. Okay, well, you know, the Brooklyn Barclays just did an interview, exclusive interview with Sky Sports, who promote all your shows in the UK, and they said that they really want to host the event, and they have a great working relationship with Showtime, and they're a mecca of boxing. So, as a betting man, I would honestly say that it's a huge chance that the fight would land in either Las Vegas or at the Barclays. So you know the money, you know the percentage split for the pay-per-view back end, you know most likely where it would be at in terms of venues. They also said at the Barclays that November or December works best for them, and they'll be flexible to get that type of fight in their building, right? It gives you plenty of time to prepare and train. Your promoter said that he would fight Gerald Big Baby Miller, match him with you in that same venue for less money, for no title. You'll get less credit for beating Gerald Miller, who hasn't yet fought for a title, versus knocking out a champion or beating a champion with the only remaining belt that you don't have. I mean, shout out to D-Lo404. Make sure y'all smash the like button. $5 super chat. AJ said he wasn't ready to fight Wilder, and he still isn't ready, and it looks like he may never be. Don't care how much noise he talks in a safe place. Yeah, man. I mean, and the other thing is, like, I think it would have been a good look, a great look, in fact, if he would have went to the Oval Office. You're already in America. Jack Johnson, a historic black fighter. You're black. Historic black heavyweight. You're a black heavyweight. You know what I mean? And you're not always in America, but you happen to be in America during the time where the President of the United States, Donald Trump, pardons this historic black African-American heavyweight. You know what I mean? And Lennox Lewis from Great Britain, from the UK, is there. Wilder's there. The WBC's there. Sylvester Stallone, you know what I mean, the boxing icon, is there. And you're in America. You should have went. That would have been photo ops for you and Wilder. It would have been a secure place. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to really do nothing at the Oval Office. That's where the president's at. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, they got security and they got guns. What did Mark say? They got guns and shit. So it's a secure environment. Nothing's going to happen to nobody. You could have been there for that type of history. Probably been some cool photo ops with Stallone and Lennox and your nemesis Wilder. Didn't go. And they was calling you Anthony Johnson, and they pardoned Jack Johnson, so Johnson and Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say I have a fear of flying, that's why I don't want to fight Wilder in America, because you're in America right now. So, like I said, the walls are closing in. All the excuses these fans are making, or promoters or whoever, you're out of time. You know what I mean? It's out of time for all that. DAZN ain't signed no major fighters yet. Something big has to happen. You know what I mean? And see, like, listen, if AJ beat, like, I doubt AJ will be on DAZN because he's too big. And if you can make money on pay-per-view and 80,000 tickets sold and all that, well, AJ, why would you put him on DAZN? However, if AJ beats Wilder, he's the man in boxing and in the heavyweight division. So maybe having an A-lister, like, who just accomplished that, maybe that would lure some people, because Matchroom is now popping because they have the best heavyweight in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can say, oh, Tyson Fury's good, but, I mean, Tyson Fury don't got shit in terms of at the moment, not saying that Tyson Fury can't beat Joshua or Wilder, but you can't play the game based on how you want. Like me, I think Errol Spence is the best welterweight. I think Errol Spence would beat Keith Thurman. But at the time, Keith Thurman had 2 belts, and he had resume of names with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. So I still got to respect Keith Thurman for that. I still have to rank him higher, even though I think Errol Spence would beat him. So even though Tyson Fury is a good fight, he doesn't have... If Wilder lost to AJ and AJ became undisputed, then you have to respect that man as the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, despite if you think a Joe Joyce or Tyson Fury or somebody could beat him. They haven't proven that they did and can. So until otherwise proven, Joshua would be the man. So that could probably lure people to the DAZN shit, because you would have arguably the biggest boxing star. You know what I mean? You got Canelo still out there, but you would definitely have the biggest heavyweight star, the most accomplished. And like I said, the Barclays is making a strong push for the fight. Showtime begging you, Barclays is begging you, and you just insist on fighting in the UK, knowing you're gonna make less money, and now saying you're good with that. Listen, none of this makes sense. If you were good with making less money, and you're not gonna sell your soul, and you don't care about money like that because money's just material, then why do you want to be a billionaire? Why did Joshua say that? Why do you say you want to be boxing's first billionaire if you don't care about money and you're willing to pass up $20 million? There's a lot of fighters who have mega fights that don't get $20 million for the fight, let alone you being willing to pass up $20 million that you asked for, right? Why did you spend so much time negotiating with Joseph Parker if you don't really care about money like that? Why don't you just give him whatever he wanted, you know what I mean, within reason, as long as he didn't make more than you, a higher percent? Why did you nickel and dime his percentage until you finally got one that would work and then fight him? Wilder said he wanted 50-50 initially. Why don't you just give him that if you don't care about money? None of these things make sense. When you guys can try, but I promise you, all of the AJ protectors that are going out of their way, you're only making it look worse. I promise you, because this amount of different inconsistencies, it can't be explained intelligently. So you're going to be reaching, and you're going to be looking worse and worse, and it's not doing him any service. You know what I mean? If you don't care about money, but you care about the percentage split, as long as it's half and half. Like, I can understand if Joshua said, I'm not giving Wilder 80% and taking 20% because he feels he's more accomplished. But Wilder wanted 50-50. You said no. He wanted 60-40. It sounded like you guys didn't want him to take that. But then now you're saying money doesn't rule me, and it's not all about money. I want to fight in front of my fans, and I've earned it, and I'm willing to take a pay cut of upwards of $20 million possibly just to fight at home, even though you know all the money's in America. Even though you know all these historic champions from all around the world, Pacquiao, Lennox Lewis, Sergey Kovalev, whoever, you know what I mean? All these dudes came from different areas of the world, made their mark. You know what I mean? David Tua. And you're just hell-bent on fighting in the UK. You've already given the UK 20 fights with 19 knockouts. But you're just that hell, I got to do it for my fan. I just can't believe that. Listen, there's a difference between nobility and stupidity. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say it again because I like that. There's a difference between nobility and stupidity. Let me explain. Being noble and loyal, all that's cool. But there's a difference between being noble and loyal and being stupid or foolish. You know what I mean? Once again, there's a difference between nobility and stupidity. For example, hold on, let me get to this money. Super chat. Slip the jab. $5 super chat. Hearn don't give a damn about AJ. He just trying to milk his cash cow. That's all that's left. Wilder's slaughterhouse, who walks away from 50 million. That's what I'm saying. Real recognize real. That's why Lennox Lewis with Wilder. Listen, let me explain. There's a difference between nobility and stupidity. For example, any business, a successful business, you have to make decisions with this more than this. You can have in your heart anything that you want to do, right? You be like, oh, I want to give back, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people who think more with this than this, they usually end up in trouble in business. Like MC Hammer, right? I'm from the Bay, right? He's from Oakland. He tried to put all his people on, whether they're ex-convicts, cokeheads and drug addicts, just people from the block that weren't doing shit. MC Hammer tried to save everybody and put everybody on, which is cool. That's noble, it's loyal, you're looking after your community, whatever you want to call it. But that's still foolish because you have this crazy budget. And what if there's somebody better that's from Chicago that's not from Oakland? You know what I'm saying? And so if there's a video director and editor from Chicago who's not from your area, but you're gonna just solely get someone who may even be worse, like Hammer, they put me in the mix, you know what I mean, editing your videos and stuff, even if they're doing a worse job at it and they're not as good, you're doing that just solely to give a job to someone from your community. That doesn't, you can't make that make sense. You can't make that make sense. You know what I mean? You have to be sparing. Or here's another example. Kevin Hart is from Philadelphia, right? He can't do it he can't do all his shows in Philadelphia. Every big, let's say he opens up a restaurant. Maybe Philadelphia is not the area where that restaurant will be the most successful. So maybe he opens that restaurant in Atlanta because maybe there's this popping place for chicken and waffles or steakhouse or whatever fucking restaurant. He can't just do everything from Philadelphia because that's where he's from. And this is the last thing. If you make the type of money that Joshua, it sounds like, is refusing, you could do more for your people. You know what I'm saying? Like the 20 million that you don't want to come to, the 20 million, upwards of 20 million that you don't want to come to America to get. Imagine what you could do back in the UK having that much surplus, that much extra money. You get what I'm saying? So either way, if you have somebody who has your best interest in mind and they're telling you to pass up lucrative deals for reasons as such, like, oh, so I could fight at home or so I could give back to my community, but you're actually losing money and taking a huge pay cut, then they're not doing their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say Kevin Hart, he's from Philly. If his manager is saying, hey, if you do this stand-up special in Philly, if you do it in Philly, this auditorium can only fit 2,000 people, right? Only 2,000 people, and because of the economy in Philly, we can only charge this much because we got people on Section 8 and welfare. They're not going to be able to pay this price for tickets, right? So do this show in Philly, this major show that we're going to film for your movie. This Philly venue only holds 2,000 people, and based on the economy, we have to charge cheaper price for tickets. Versus if you do the same exact show at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, we got sponsors and and we'll be able to sell 19,000. Or you do it in Australia and you can sell 80,000 and you're gonna make a lot more money. Whoever his agent is, if they tell him no, stay in Philly and only sell to 2,000 people and make far less money, they're not doing Kevin Hart a service. That's a disservice. Period. Stay in Philly just because that's where your heart's at. That's where you grew up at. Don't go and get this Vegas money. Don't go even, like I said, we can do overseas. Kevin Hart, don't go to Australia and sell out Jeff Horn's venue in Brisbane. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're going to make $20 million more. That's crazy. So there's a difference between just being nobility, and stupidity. It's great to give back to your community, but it doesn't always work like that. You know what I mean? And if you're in a position to, they're like, oh, Joshua's not starving for cash. We know he has money, but you don't have to be starving for cash. You can take care of your people better and your family and everybody with an extra $20 million. You know what I mean? 20 million plus. There's no other way around it. You simply can. You know what I mean? And it's not selling your soul because you asked for this amount. You said this is how much you wanted. They just simply countered your offer and gave you how much you said you wanted. Like I said with the pizza. If I order 3 large pizzas, I can't be like, oh, I'm not breaking my diet for you. They're like, oh, we delivered the pizza that you wanted. You said you wanted these 3 pizzas. What do you mean I'm not gonna eat a cheat meal for you and try to blame it on Domino's like they're the ones that made you break your diet. This is what you ordered this pizza. So yeah, I just can't see how you would say you have advisors or people or team in your corner and they're going to tell you that, or even here's another example. Floyd. We know Floyd Mayweather likes money. He was fighting at a time before the T-Mobile Arena was even created. You know what I'm saying? He was fighting in Vegas. So he's used to the MGM. In fact, they had that large billboard every time I used to go to Vegas, a big ass billboard of Floyd, right? And this is a little bit different because they're both MGM properties. But if Leonard Ellerbe and Al Heyman say, hey, this Conor McGregor fight, this is a new fight, and you're going to make $300 million if you fight Conor McGregor at the T-Mobile Arena as opposed to the MGM. Let's just say the MGM didn't own both properties. So Floyd could either stay with Richard Sturm at the MGM, or hypothetically, if the T-Mobile wasn't owned by MGM, or go to what Leonard Ellerbe is we got to deal with T-Mobile. It's a newer, bigger arena. And then Floyd's like, no, I'm staying with the MGM. That's not good business. Why do you think Floyd left HBO? Because Showtime was cashing out. Period. And he didn't like the way he'd been treated, so it was like, you know what I mean? HBO need to fire your ass. You don't know shit about boxing. Good business is good business, period. I've told you, I've been in the same city. See, I practice what I preach. I remember there have been fights in the Bay Area. All of my local people, I know some of the fighters that are fighting on these cards, right? But I can't just be like, oh, Bay Area for life. I rep the Bay as much and as strongly as I can. I let you guys know where I'm from. I'm here. I try to be at the spots. I hope I get bigger and bigger so I can give back to this area in more ways. But I can't do everything for the Bay. You know what I'm saying? I rep it as much as I can. I always throw up that West Side. I love California. But there's been times where Daddy got to leave. Daddy got to go to New York and cover Broner versus Vargas. I can't stay behind because there's a small ass card in the Bay. You know what I mean? And I know people fighting there. It's no disrespect to the people on the card, but it's a business. How can I sustain my channel if I'm not making wise business decisions? If I'm covering, you know what I'm saying, E40's boxing card, you know what I mean, with a bunch of small name boxers, instead of going to Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman, or Jeff Horn and Crawford, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever card, Wilder, Joshua, that it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't mean I'm a sellout. It doesn't mean that I don't love the area I'm from or I don't respect it. It just, in business, you got to think with this more than this. And I know the bigger I get, the more I can help people in the Bay. The more I can help the Bay. The more I can establish myself. So I look at the grand picture, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to leave. You have to do what's right for for your family. Like, you know what I mean? My dad was in the military, so they have this thing called TDY. Sometimes he had to go to places like Thailand or Australia, wherever, New York, Wyoming, and sometimes he'd be gone for 6 months. That doesn't mean he's abandoned his family. That's what duty calls. You know what I'm saying? So if he's gone for 6 months in Thailand, TDY with the military, because he's out on assignment, then my mom's going to have to hold down the fort. That's just what it is. He can't be like, oh no, I don't want to be away from my family for 6 months, so I'm not going to do it. Because he figures this is helping my family more, because I'm going to get cashed the fuck out by going to Thailand and working this assignment away from home, away from the Bay Area. It's simple mathematics, people. And I'm done talking. I'm going to get some shut-eye and enjoy my Friday and try to watch this Inouye fight. Jamie McDonald versus McDonald, or whatever his name is, versus Inouye. And then tomorrow, the future Pacquiao, Jerwin Ancasas, he got a card out in Fresno. I'll probably go out to that. But yeah, man, this whole AJ thing is disappointing. Shout out to Tara Mendez. It says, have a great weekend. You too. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk about this more later, but I'm going to get some sleep. It's just, AJ's not, whoever's advising him or whatever, if you're in a position to turn down $20 million as a prize fighter, 20 plus million, just to fight at home, that's not, to me, it's not a wise business decision. These comments, I'm trying not to read and not laugh, but you know what I mean? Like, and everybody in the business knows this. Kovalev, you know, Kovalev, you got to give him credit. He's a road warrior. He's a road warrior. He fought Jean Pascal in Pascal's backyard twice in Canada, his second adopted home or whatever. Fact. He fought Ward in Vegas, which is right next to California. Fact. Twice. Win, lose, or draw. He can't fight every fight in Russia. You know what I mean? The logistics don't make sense. The promoters, the network, they wanted Max Kellerman in Vegas, and Roy Jones and Jim Land, they wanted this shit in Vegas. And that's where it made sense. Kovalev took his ass to his crusher ass to Vegas or Canada or Nathan Cleverly's backyard in Wales or wherever. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, I fight in one location and that's like even Jeff Horn. Like Jeff Horn. Listen to me, people. I'm not lying. Jeff Horn fought his whole career in fucking Australia. Now that's a knife. His whole career in Australia. Where's he fighting Terrence Crawford? Where's he fighting Terrence Crawford? Oh yeah, in Las Vegas. Now I know Crawford's not from the West Coast. He's not from Vegas, but he's still from America. And the champion is fighting a challenger in his, and he's excited about it. I read an interview and Jeff Horn was like, oh, I can't wait to fight in America. But only AJ, for whatever reason, has this issue where it's like UK or bust, and he's like, he doesn't really have an excitement about fighting in America. And all these other UK fighters do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. James DeGale, he just fought Caleb Truex. I was at the fight in Vegas. He just fought the UK fighter. He fought Andre Durrell, out here in America. You know what I mean? But now we turn it down 20 million plus. Like, it just, none of that makes sense. None of that makes sense at all. You know what I mean? Duty calls, and sometimes you have to travel. Like I don't know, especially since he didn't say it. I don't know in what world Joshua feels that he gets to ask for this lump sum up front, this crazy amount, you know what I mean, a very high amount that no other heavyweight has been guaranteed, then get it, and then now you still have more like major issues like with location. Like, listen, if I was Joshua, You remember when? Okay, remember when Joshua, he did an interview with Sky Sports, and he says, "Oh, we sent the offer to Wilder, and if I were to get a deal in my career at that point where he's at, I'll grab it with both hands. I'll be through the moon. I'll be over the moon. I'll be over the moon with it." So you be over the moon for $12.5 fucking million with no pay-per-view bans. Just listen to this stuff. You would, so in your brain, I can't make this stuff up. He did an interview with Sky Sports. It says, if I got a deal like Wilder got the deal, $12.5 million, I'll grab it with both hands. And I'd be over the moon with a deal like that. You would be over the fucking moon for a flat rate deal that's less than $13 million, no pay-per-view back in. But when it comes to $50 million with 50% of the pay-per-view back in, you're not over the moon for that. You're not willing to grab that with both hands. And in fact, you only want it if it's in the UK. This is literally unheard of. I've never heard of no shit like this in boxing. How are you over the moon for 12.5 million flat, but you're not over the moon and you still have concerns and where's the venue? I got questions for 50 million. And then on top of that, you're acting, after you asked for this amount, now you're acting like you don't really care about the money. Like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna sell out. I'm not gonna sell my soul. I could take a 20 million plus pay cut possibly. You know what I'm saying? This is, like I said, no other heavyweight in history has been guaranteed a purse like that. So that none of this is making sense. You're over the moon. I'll be over the moon, through the roof, over the moon and all this shit for $12 million. But then 50 million you're willing to pass out. So like, just put this in perspective. You're willing to pass up more than you're willing. They're stating that him not taking the 50 million and choosing to fight in the UK, his pay cut, with, you know what I mean, with the conversion and all that, he could lose $20 million or more by not fighting in America and not taking that $50 million in America. So let me get this straight. You'll be over the moon for less money than the amount of money you would lose by not taking the fight in America. You guys get what I'm saying? So you're willing to lose 20 million plus and feel no type of way about it. But you just said you would be over the moon for 12.5 million flat. But you're willing to lose 20 million by not fighting for the 50 million in America. Listen, Boxing of the North. Do we have actual proof of the 50 million though? Once again, the more you guys reach, you fanatic and man fans, the worse you make it look. Do we have any proof that the 50 million is not a possibility? That's a better question. Do we have 50 million? Do we have any proof that they can't get their hands on the funds? Showtime says, hey, we'll help you. The Barclays says, we want it in our location. Al Heyman has deep pockets. Al Heyman got all this money to start up the PBC. So you're asking, do we have actual proof of the 50 million? We just seen Eddie Hearn in an app that nobody's fucking heard of in America, and they offered him $1 billion. Offered $1 billion for an app no one's even heard of in America. And you're questioning if $50 million is available. But if it wasn't available, wouldn't that be the first thing that Team Joshua outed Wilder for? Like, oh, this motherfucker offered 50 million. He don't even have it. I'm telling you guys look worse and worse and worse. All you AJ protectors, like, you guys are getting buried, and I'm gonna make sure I'm doing the burying. If you guys talking that dumb, oh, do we have proof of the 50? That all that stuff is dead. Do we have proof of the 50 million? Why wouldn't that be the first? That would take all the pressure off of AJ from the jump. If they could prove that the money wouldn't be available. I even seen an interview where Eddie Hearn says, oh yeah, they probably got it. He said that. It was on Fight Hype, I believe. It was he was outside. It was the day he announced DAZN shit, where he was drinking a beer and all that. He says, "Oh yeah, I don't doubt that they can get 50 million." You know what I'm saying? So again, if they didn't have the 50 million, you guys are still trying with the same bullshit excuse. Oh, how do we know the 50 million exists? Have you heard anything about the 50 million not existing? Because that would be the easiest go-to point. And then this would have relieved the pressure and the bleeding a whole long time ago. Because AJ would have been like, boom, look at this receipt. They don't got the money. And then nobody would even be talking about this anymore because Joshua would be exposed. Wilder would be exposed. It's that simple. For example, Adrian Broner posted this. That's the offer he received from DAZN. It says fight 1, 2, and 3. So why didn't Eddie Hearn post something like this showing that the 50 million is not available? Because it's sounding like the 50 million is available. You guys are getting bodied, man. All he has to do is do what Broner did, and just whether you think it's sloppy or not, prove that the 50 million is not available, and then nobody would even be talking about 50 million anymore. But you know the money's there. So yeah, like like I said, there's too many inconsistencies. None of this stuff really makes sense. I want to be a billionaire, but I'm willing to take a 20 million plus pay cut just to fight at home in front of my fans. I gotta do it for them. What? I already told you what the Barclays said. If you join late, then you got to catch the replay. The Barclays said they want the fight. They'll push for the fight. They'll be flexible with the dates. They said November, December works best. There's plenty of time. We're still in the month of May. So there's a possible venue right there. So Showtime said they'll step in to mediate. The Barclays said they want to fight. And according, I'm gonna read the beginning of the article. The title says Anthony Joshua wants to bring Deontay Wilder to the UK. To the UK, despite the Barclays Center's desire. That's the title of the article. He wants to bring the fight to the UK despite the Barclays. New York City's Barclays Center has described themselves as the go-to venue in North America in a bid to secure the undisputed world heavyweight title fight, as ongoing negotiations hinge on an agreed location. But Joshua does not yet intend to make his USA debut, having sold nearly 250,000 tickets, 3 consecutive fights at Wembley in London, then twice at Cardiff's Principality Stadium. Barclays CEO says, I made our interest known to all the appropriate parties that we are in the big event business. We have made incredible commitment to the sport of boxing. Everyone knows, and we want this fight. And Joshua still is insistent on the UK, knowing that the money is here. Wilder keeps saying, come get this bag. Come get this bag. It's in America. The money's all there. And AJ's like, yo, I only want to fight in the UK. Like, it's crazy. And Wilder versus Ortiz did like 14,500 tickets roughly. Imagine how much Joshua Wilder would do. Joshua's American debut. Wilder's been featured there a couple times and done solid numbers. That would be great. It's a new venue. They could charge high prices of the tickets. Denzel Washington was at Wilder's last fight at the Barclays Center. You know what I'm saying? So you get stars and celebrities turn out, Rihanna and, you know what I mean, different people like that for big boxing in the major cities like Vegas, New York, LA. Man, I would fight, if I was already a pro fighter, I would fight in Neverland Ranch. It don't matter. I'll fight him in Back to the Future, go back in time, fight Biff and him. And then now it's something different. Oh, I'm not gonna sell my soul. Listen, I'm out. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Barclay wants to fight Joshua. Doesn't seem like he's trying to budge with the whole UK thing. Like I said, you gotta, anybody who's in business, tell me how that's a wise business decision. From a business decision. Honestly, how is that a smart business? And like, again, I use examples like these all the time. If Warren Buffett is from Omaha, Nebraska, and he can open a Coca-Cola plant in Omaha, Nebraska, and help out the economy in Omaha, or he can make 4 times the amount of money by building that same Coca-Cola plant elsewhere, like Cleveland, what do you think he's going to do as a businessman? Y'all doing too much. Someone said I'd kill myself for 50 million. Who's going to spend the money then? Y'all tripping. That shit was kind of funny though. That's what I'm saying. Listen, as a business, what do you think Warren Buffett would do? He's from Omaha. If he can open a Coca-Cola plant in Omaha, help out his community that raised him, and earn $5 million, or he can earn $30 million by opening it elsewhere in Cleveland. What do you think he would do as a businessman? Honestly, we're just talking simple business. What do you think the businessman would do? Can anybody hear me? I'm asking you guys a question. What do you think Warren Buffett would do? A businessman. If he can open a Coca-Cola plant where he's from in Omaha and make $5 million profit, or he can open it elsewhere in the world, Iowa or Cleveland or something, and he knows for a fact it'll give him $30 million, what would he do? Where would he build it? Shout out to Big Time. Exactly. He'd follow the money. It's just smart business. Let's say we're in real estate. We're realtors. We're into real estate, right? And I can assure you that if you buy this house on this block, you're going to get $5 million for it. You know what I mean? Nice house. You're going to get $5 million for it. But if you spend the same amount of money or the same amount of energy and buy this house in this area, you're going to get $35 million for it. You're going to get $25 million for it. What would you do? Would you still buy the house that you know that once you flip it, you're going to get 4 times less? Or are you going to invest your money in the house that you know you're going to get 4 times more? It's that simple. And again, if you have people, your team and all that, who are telling you to invest in the thing that is less lucrative, then you got to question that. You think Al Heyman would ever, like, just look at Floyd. Like, in the latter part of his career, he tried to put on the big events. He made more money fighting Conor McGregor than he would have fought if he would have fought Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia. That's why that fight took place. I think he would have beat Danny Garcia for sure. But it's not going to be the event Conor McGregor. Danny Garcia is not much of a trash talker like that. You know what I'm saying? Like overly, like Conor McGregor. So Floyd fought Conor McGregor, a guy who wasn't even in the sport, because it was like so much money, it doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? No, I got to do it for the fans. I got to fight Danny. It's all about Danny. You know what I'm saying? Like, He can make all that money with Conor. So whether fans like it or not, it's that made more money and it made more dollars, aka it made more sense. And the funny thing is this, is Joshua always talks that business stuff. Like he was like, oh, I like Klitschko because the way Klitschko handled himself, he's like true gentleman. Like, I'm a boxer, but we wear nice suits and ties and like, it's like prim and proper. But to me, this is not that same business-minded attitude that he tries to show. You know what I mean? About, oh, look how Klitschko, things are done. I don't get on Twitter. You know what I mean? These fights take time. Me and my team, we negotiate behind closed doors. We don't have to get on Instagram and yell and blah, blah, blah. So all this business-minded shit, but you're not making the business-minded decision that's in front of your face that will make more money for you. So, like, that doesn't make sense to tell everyone how professional you are and how you're business-minded and business-savvy. But then when it comes to an actual investment and or business decision, you're making the decision that's going to drastically underpay you for what this event could do. Clean cut, bruh. Thank you, man. My barber, she got hands. Anyway, I'm out. I got to get some sleep. I'm not going to just waste my time. So it's unfortunate. It looks like, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they fight next, but to me, I'm not going to hold my breath for it. So let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. It's just getting exhausting talking about this. But slowly but surely, the great thing is we see the fans are running out of excuses. The only people who are trying to defend all of these inconsistencies, like, you asked for $50 million and now you're acting like $50 million is selling your soul some kind of way. You're acting like to give the amount of money that you requested, that's a bad thing, or like it doesn't make sense. You have to do it for the UK people. Listen, the UK fans are great. The UK fans will follow you, a lot of them that can afford it, and they'll support you whether you're fighting. I know people who stayed up to watch like much smaller fights, like Amir Khan versus Chris Algieri or Collazo or something, because they're boxing fans. You know what I mean? So you're not, by not fighting Wilder and potentially ruining the fight if one of you guys loses in the interim, you're not really doing anything for your fans if the fight doesn't come off. You know what I mean? Loyal fans will be loyal regardless of if they get to watch you at home or if you're fighting abroad. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to be like, oh, I was an AJ fan, but this motherfucker decided to, this goddamn motherfucker, he just, goddamn AJ motherfucker, he decided to fight at the Barclays. I can't support that. He didn't want to give back to the UK. Like, you gave someone 20 fights, 19 knockouts, and for one fight, you fight in the Barclays. I really can't see UK fans like abandoning you. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker, he wants to fight in America, huh? Let's turn our back on him. Why would they do that? Why would UK fans, the UK fans would just be happy that UK fans would just be happy that it's a great fight and they want to see their countrymen represent them and possibly win. They're not going to be like, this goddamn motherfucker, see what he happened? Should have never gave you niggas money. Give him some goddamn money. What does he do? Travels to America to fight that dark-skinned Wilder. Just like the rest of them. Lennox, Frank Bruno got his ass whooped by Mike Tyson. Anthony Joshua is no different. You get a little money, get that bag, and leaves us. Goes to goddamn America. Like, what UK fan would what UK fan would do that? Please let me know. Seeing how great UK fans are and how loyal, why do you have to fight Wilder in the UK? No one's gonna not watch you, or you know what I mean? Klitschko fought Bryant Jennings in fucking America. And he never fights in America either. And he fought him. He didn't have to fight Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings was from Philly. Klitschko fought him in New York. Why did he do that? I guess that's where the money. No one's going to be mad at. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what Joshua's like acting like UK fans are going to disown him for coming to America. They understand it's a job. It's your fucking job. There's nobody mad at Pacquiao like, the motherfucker, Pacquiao, he wants to go fight Ricky Hatton in the States and he never fight for us. He doesn't take the fight in the Philippines before me. Like, nobody from the Philippines is mad at Pacquiao. You know what I mean? They're probably thinking like, oh, it'd be great if Pacquiao had a fight back home, but they're not mad at him. They still tune in and stay up and be on Twitter after his fight. Oh, you see that knockout? So I don't know what Joshua's acting like. UK fans are gonna disown him if he fights at the Barclays or LA or Vegas or whatever. Big time $5 super chat. Boxingego, I'm so frustrated. Damn, Ego, it's 4:15 p.m. in Egypt and you are still working. You definitely got Mayweather's work ethic. I'm the people's champ, baby. Yeah, I'm going to bed, man. Nah, I'm cool. I'm actually not even that. I'm just upset that this is a great fight and we have to do all this shit just to see it. That goddamn Anthony Joshua gets an Under Armour deal. Now he wants to be with those Americans. Nobody's going to do that. The UK will still love you. Yeah, you know how I know the UK will still love you? Because some of y'all motherfuckers in the UK be getting y'all ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? Knocked out and all the whole 9 yards. And the UK fans still be in the crowd chanting, yeah! They be still riding with their people. And I'm talking about some of the UK fighters that aren't that good. You know what I mean? They're not that good getting their ass whooped. And they're still like, yeah, fucking Liam, you're the best. What? And they're not even that good. Joshua's actually a good fighter. And he represented y'all in the Olympics, got a gold medal. Like, they still gonna ride with you, bro. Make the fight. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. And I'm out. Holla.